Thanks for staying with us here in the press box. Now, guys, let's talk about this week's games. We're going to start with Faith Academy. Steve, they've just been on a tear lately. This week, they're welcoming Sugar Land Lagos Preparatory. Now, there is some interesting ties there between Faith and Lagos Prep. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, Aaron Wiest is the administrator at Sugar Land, and of course he was the administrator at Faith Academy. So maybe this is a rivalry that'll start and continue to go back and forth over the years. So it's an exciting chance to get to play him, and we've actually had some rivalries there in track with him develop too. So it's maybe it'll be across all sports.
Now, of course, they're playing on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. At Faith Academy. It is the homecoming game for y'all. And I'm guessing y'all did that on purpose because they have to travel so far.
That's right. Yeah, because of travel and those factors. That there's actually a JV game after it as well, so there'll be 2 games. So yeah, because of travel and kids coming from out of town and things like that, that works out real well with the schedule. Will
Faith Academy be able to maintain what they've started? I know that they're 3-1. I know Lagos Prep I think is at least 2-1, maybe 3-1.
I think they're 2-1. Yeah.
2-1 in their schedule. Was this a good test for them?
Well, according to sixmanfootball.com, it's going to be another mercy rule. That's kind of the prediction. So I think if they take care of business like they did last week, because they were favored over Prairie Lee by 45, I think once you gain confidence, being the front runner is something you have to deal with, because some games you're going to win close, some games you're going to win big, and that's, I think, a sign of a good team is when you're supposed to win and you win.
Okay. And of course, Faith Academy has been able to score a lot of points because of their running game, something that some of our other teams would like to have happen to them, namely Llano against Fredericksburg. After the drumming over Brownwood, where they got beat 54-14, Judge, is this a good time to face a Fredericksburg team that's still finding its identity?
Well, I think you could argue that any time would be a good time to play Fredericksburg. Unfortunately, the Billies are down this year, and so I think Llano will find it relatively easy to get back in the win column. I really feel for Fredericksburg. Traditionally, they're a good football team. Plus, the head coach over there is my wife's cousin. But he told us before the season started that Fredericksburg have a tough year this year, and they are, and I don't see any way out for them. It's just a long season.
Billy, we're going to skip right on and go right into Burnett Gatesville. I know that you've followed them a little bit. Can you just talk to us, because that seems to be a really good matchup for their last warm-up game before they go into district play?
Yeah, they probably need one, and Gatesville is a team that traditionally has a lot of speed. They can hurt you in a lot of ways, but they also have a little bit of problem closing out games. Burnett needs, to me, to catch his breath and get his house in order before it begins district play. So I think they'll be ready to go after that.
Now, something interesting did happen during that win against Bandera. Coach Walker pulled Weston Cosby, his starting junior quarterback, in favor of the backup when the game was still in doubt after Cosby took a sack. I'm wondering if Coach Walker is trying to emphasize a point to his first-year starter in figuring out when to take a sack, when to throw the ball away, or when to get out of the pocket. So we'll see how well Mr. Cosby takes that message. And then, of course, the big one this week is going to be Marble Falls, Vista Ridge. Everything is for real now for Marble Falls.
Absolutely.
You said before the start of the season the pressure's on the Mustangs. Does that increase tenfold now?
Well, yes. Can you imagine a better situation than Friday night in Marble Falls, first district game, Vista Ridge rated in the top 6 or 7 in Central Texas in the 4A, 5A poll, and the Mustangs have got them at Mustang Stadium. Now, I'm going to hesitate to say this is a must-win, but we're going to be facing some of these must-wins pretty quick. It sure would help our situation to win this ball game. Lake Travis, Cedar Park, Vista Ridge, there's only 4 playoff slots in this district, and we need to make our move for one of those pretty quick, and I think we need to start Friday night.
Billy, what are your keys to Friday night's game? What does Marble Falls have to do to get back on a winning track?
Well, Marble Falls has twice demonstrated what it can do, and if they do that, they can be successful. And that was the first drive against Burnett, and then the first drive the other night against Bernie Champion. They took and drove the ball predominantly on the ground. In each case, they threw a couple of key passes. But the combination of the running to set up the pass worked very effectively. And this is when Marble Falls has been at their best, because passing-wise has not set up the run for them. They get out of rhythm as far as the offense goes. And the second thing is the defense has played well at times, but it wears out. You just can't let the other team, particularly an effective team like Bernie Champion, beat on you for very long. You're going to get beat down. So Marble Falls has got to go to the running game, and they got to set up the pass, and they've got to drive the ball. They're going to have to keep up with teams on this. They're going to have to score and score effectively to stay in this game.
Well, there's no question that when Marble Falls was racking up the wins in weeks 1 and 2, they had 3 things in common. Number 1, the secondary faced them in a man defense.
Right.
Okay, and that's what you want when you have a receiver like David Morgan. Number 2, Marble Falls did not have untimely penalties. And there's not a good time to have a penalty,
Right.
but especially when you're in the red zone. And number 3, when Marble Falls was winning and winning big, they were creating turnovers. They created turnovers and they were able to score. Marble Falls has gotten away from those things. Now, I still say and maintain, and I may be out on the island by myself on this, and that's okay. I think Marble Falls had the chance, the ability, the talent to beat Champion. I didn't think Champion was any better than Marble Falls, because Champion goes in, we have a turnover late, or we give the ball back to them late. They go in and score. It's a 17-0 instead of 10-0. Marble Falls comes out, scores, then it's 17-7, and the one time that we needed a 3 and out to get the ball back, for momentum's sake, Bernie Champion goes down the field and they score. Then it's 24-7, and Marble Falls really never threatens again at that point.
I've got to get these things like Burnett and Bernie, the 2 Bs, I got to get them out of my head, because I'm thinking about them instead of Vista Ridge this week.
Sure.
I sit around moping around about the Burnett loss and the Bernie loss, and that's history. We can't do anything about it. I'd like to do something about it, a lot of things about it, but that's not possible. So we've got to get that out of our head and start talking about this district games, which start Friday night.
Now, Steve, you're somebody who really believes in momentum. How important is it to establish momentum and have that going no matter the sport?
Yeah, that's a good point. I've been to 2 of the Marble Falls games, and what I noticed is maybe the players need to realize you're going to fumble the ball, you're going to have 3 and outs. It's not always going to be 42-0, so expect that you're not just going to drive the ball down the field. I actually was able to visit on the Burnett sideline during that game, and those Burnett players never, their demeanor on the sideline, whether it was 7-7 or 7-0, they just kept plugging away. So I think teams, to develop momentum, you have to keep plugging away and just hit through the wall and expect, the fumble, the bad play, the penalty, and just keep plugging away.
Was this Burnett's good luck charm?
You got to watch that.
That's right.
Obviously, with Marble Falls starting District 25 4A play this week, there are so many key games going on for the rest of the district. Obviously, then it'll be very, very interesting to see how many people can actually, get on the right course, and then realize that if things don't go your way in week 1, the first week of district play, that not all is lost.
Everybody's 0-0.
Right.
Everybody starts with an even record.
So it'll be very, very interesting to see that. Who are you most excited to see this week, Judge?
Well, I have to be excited about the Marble Falls Vista Ridge game. It's so important to our program to get off on a winning note in the district standings. We don't have a lot of margin for error when you're in the same district with Lake Travis and Cedar Park, Vista Ridge, so we need a good start. And of course, I think we'll get it, but we need it.
Right. Steve, who are you most excited to see from the Faith Academy side?
Yeah, I'm excited to see how the team handles once again, but maybe going for 4-0. I mean, 3-0 begins a streak, so you can continue it on, because they have a look-ahead game. Kerrville is the big game coming up after this game with Logos. So it's good. It'll be interesting to see how the team reacts, knowing, hey, we're favored. We have a big game the following week. Are we going to play down? Already thinking about the game that's in 2 weeks.
Billy, your comments? Who are you most excited to see this week?
I want to see Marble Falls take a deep breath and come back. They're letting the season slip away just a bit. One of those situational things that happens within a season. But it's always the next game, just like it's always the next play if you're playing. And they got the capability and they got the weapons to be able to put up a fight in these games. They just need to do so.
Okay. All right, guys, another exciting week for football. We look forward to seeing how things pan out. And up next, one of our fans switches the tables on us and tries to stump the experts.
Replacing or building a new fence? Look to the most respected company in Central Texas, Hill Country Fence. Whatever your fencing needs, we strive to make you happy. Go online now and get a quote quickly and easily. Hill Country Fence, the most trusted name in fencing.
Are your investments driven by factors outside of your control? Do you have access to your money when you need it? Visit itsyourmoneyonline.com to learn how to keep thousands of your dollars from going down the drain. It's your money. Take control.